Hi guys, and welcome to the Unspoken Collective. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm Steph.
And if you're new to this channel, welcome. We hope that you stay with us. We have some videos up already, and we're going to continue putting videos up. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. So, today's topic, and can I just say, this is our first
collab.
Yeah, this is our first collab.
Like.
Yeah. We are sisters. Not that that's, well, it might be relevant, but we are sisters, and we just want to do a collab.
Put in the comments who you think is older.
Yeah, that'll be that'll be very interesting. Put in the comments who you think is older, because we'd like to know what you think. So today's topic is
relationships,
and in particular we're going to be speaking about intentional dating, and Stephanie is the lucky one because she's in a relationship, so she's going to be talking from a relationship aspect, the after of the intentional dating, and mine is going to be from the single side, and that's going to be,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with being
a journey, it's not a race.
Yes, and you'll find out in this video as we speak why being single, there's nothing wrong with that, because it's all about intentional dating. So, what is intentional dating? It's dating with a purpose. It's dating with making sure that you find someone that aligns with your purpose, and someone that's already on their own journey as well through this life, and it's something that I think you should only really embark on once you've found your authentic self. Stephanie did a video on this about finding your authentic self.
We'll link that below.
Yes, and I think once you've done that, then the next step will be to find somebody to share the rest of your journey with.
Yeah, and that journey does keep going. It's not, once you get into a relationship that you stop there, because actually I'd say that was an indication of probably a toxic, or not a toxic, but not a successful relationship. I think the best indicator of a good and healthy relationship is when you initially see that person, and whatever it is that captures you or draws you to that person, and them to you, it's the same thing that you should keep seeing growing throughout the relationship. Whatever that potential that you see in them, you both should be evolving towards that always.
Yes. Okay, so the first part, I think, will be, guess, to speak on your part of the journey. So how you first, what you were looking for, and how you got into your relationship, and what you're continuing to work towards and looking for in that, because even though it's intentional dating, that goes into a relationship, and it has to be an intentional relationship, something that you can see a future with. You want to be with someone that you can see a future with, so you're not wasting your time or the other person's time. So over to you.
Well, I have been in previous relationships prior to my current one. So far we've been dating for 8 months, 8 and a bit months. I have to state, it has been a little bit different to previous experiences, obviously because of lockdown. It's actually him now. It's unnatural that in the early stages you would be so intensely located around your partner. I mean, like 24/7. I had to, break a few barriers in the relationship stages quite early. One of those, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom. Why don't you watch something? I'll be back. Don't pause it. No, it's cool. Keep watching. I'm just gonna maybe turn it up a bit. Can't really hear it. I'm just gonna. It's just one of those things, but I think in terms of it, it's been like quite a weird, nice social experiment. We've found that we've really enjoyed living together. It was something that we decided quite early on when we knew we were going down into lockdown, and I think that's because our first date lasted 9 hours. It sounds crazy. No, I mean, and this was for me, I think this is one of the biggest indicators, because instantly we had a lot to talk about. It I don't know, like you say that, yeah, 9 hours, we just kept finding things to like keep the date going, you know, but then we've like had dinner, then we went to the cinema, had food there and like drinks, then, you know, walked around for a bit, then found a cafe to go to where we ate more. Even though we weren't hungry, we just wanted to extend the date, and
that's a good sign of a first date.
And that was just one of the most telling things, because you can't force that, and you just don't know how you're going to feel, especially in that first initial date. And if it's not like your first time ever going on a date, you will naturally have some preconceived idea of it, or like from past experiences.
So before getting into your relationship, what were your intentions? What was it that you said, okay, this is what I want from a relationship? Where were you before you got into the relationship? And did you know exactly what you were looking for, or did it change once you met your partner?
That's a good question. And actually really important, because it was about a year, last year, August. I, obviously like being on like dates with some guys, and never at the same time. I mean, for me personally, it's just not my thing. But I mean, like, I dated one guy that kind of fell through, and then I was starting my master's in the September of last year. So for me, it was like my intention was actually to not be with anyone. I'd done a lot of self-work. I felt enough to know that I was ready for a relationship, but I had to have someone who was also ready. And unfortunately, I hadn't met anyone at that point that was. Then come the end of November, my current boyfriend got in contact with me, and we started talking. We knew each other prior, so it was never a thought that he
would be was a potential. You didn't think that he was a potential at the time,
and it came as like a massive surprise from that first date when we really got on. Prior to that, what I made the decision to do back to the August of 2019, I wrote a list. And I say this, and I've said this. She actually keeps telling me to write this list, so do the damn thing.
I'm gonna write the list,
But I mean, so the list itself, along with other manifestations I wrote a list of the things that I love about myself, and I'm talking about intrinsic qualities mostly, because physically we will keep changing, and it's not always the main focus. It does help, but it's how you are in your personality that really exudes. It's what draws us to people. So I wrote a list of the qualities. I think it was like 11 things that I really was proud of in myself, and even things that I still wanted to continue to exude. But at the same time, there were also things that I thought if I'd want them in myself, there were also things I'd want to see reflected from a partner. So you start to have this sort of dualistic thinking of, if I'm going to bring this to a potential relationship, or what you would expect someone to bring to the relationship, you should also be bringing too.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. You can't expect something from somebody that you wouldn't expect from yourself. And it has to be realistic. So if you if you want someone to be very positive, and to have a realistic but brighter outlook on life, it could be that you want someone who has that quality to bring it out in you, but it has to be something that you want for yourself as well. Even if you don't have it, like Steph said, there were still things that she wanted to continue to build up on, but it was qualities that you had in yourself. And I think that's what's important, that you actually make sure you have that, so you're not asking for anything that you can't bring to the relationship yourself.
And just to give a quick example, it would be things like ambition, to be self-driven, honesty. You know, you can never expect honesty from someone without being honest yourself.
Exactly, yeah.
And compassion as well. I mean, that goes for even just people like outside of people you're in, or someone you're in a relationship with. But they're just examples of things. So, I mean, fair enough if someone said that it was to do with income. You know, they have like a good job, maybe they want someone else who would also have a good job. There's nothing wrong with that, but it really is about knowing what is for you and what matters to you. On that list should be the things that matter to you, and in turn you hope to manifest that in the same way the person you get into a relationship with also reflects that, or it matters to them as well.
Yes,
I think that is like the basis, like the foundation of things, you know, to have like a strong moral compass. That's another big thing for me, I think.
And one thing that I always do when I'm if I go on dates is I always set my intentions. So is that what you? I know what she did, but I'm just for you, Steph. Did you set your intentions? Did you let your intentions be known, what you were looking for from a relationship when you first started dating?
Yeah, so for me, not from like right off the bat from the beginning, I'd say it was by the 5th date. You know, I knew I liked him, had the idea of he liked me too, and from then you do make your intentions known. Why? Because it saves a lot of time. And I think when you get talking to someone and you're going on dates and you both seem to want to do the same things and have the same quality in dates because you really want to get to know the person, why not establish what it is that you're looking for? And you can't be afraid to say it. And I don't think it has to be an old-fashioned thing of like the guy has to say it or the girl has to say it, or, you know, if you're in a same-sex relationship, no one person should feel they should have to take the lead. But if it becomes something within you that you really feel like, do you know what, I just need to let them know how I feel, let them know how you feel. Because sometimes actually I think we can self-sabotage in that no one wants to be the first one to let their guard down.
You don't want to come across as presumptuous and assuming that it's going to go a way.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, if the person doesn't want the same thing, fine, then you go your separate ways. If they do, great, then you continue as you're going along. And
I think that's the whole point of intentional dating, is that you know what you want from it. And intentional dating doesn't necessarily mean that you want a relationship. You could intend just to just to sleep with someone. Intentional dating is more specifically to you know, looking for your partner, looking for a relationship or a romantic relationship. And intentional dating, it just saves that time, because if you're on your purpose trying to look for a relationship that fulfills that want for companionship, that helps you continue to align with yourself and that person's continue to align with themselves, there's nothing wrong with establishing what you want and actually dating with a purpose. And it just helps to save time. Because I think there's nothing worse than committing time and effort to somebody that doesn't really want the same thing. And it can leave you disappointed and it can set you back, because when you are in a good place and you feel like you're ready to date, if you find somebody who isn't on the same path, isn't looking for the same thing, but you spend a couple of months, weeks, depends on your patience, you spend that time dating them, you can feel a bit disheartened if you feel as though they aren't on the same path as you. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you just need to be able to identify that and make sure that your intentions are known to the other person so you can continue on your journey to finding love.
Yeah, love and companionship as well. I think that's a big thing. Someone that can just be your friend as well.
Yeah, I think that's the best form of any kind of romantic relationship, when you have that genuine friendship. So you're friends first, and then it's something that you build up from.
Yeah.
And it's something that has longevity in it as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about the physical attraction, it's not just about that chemistry, it's about being able to have open, honest conversations without judgment and without feeling as though you're treading on eggshells. Just being able to express yourself and to be taken as you are, rather than what the other person, rather than what the other person wants you to be. And I think with friends, we're a bit more forgiving of our friends' flaws. And we should take that into relationships as well.
Absolutely.
Just being able to, accept flaws, as long as it's not self-destructive or destructive to your relationship. If it's something like timekeeping or okay, let me do one for me. Or a bit grumpy when you don't eat. That's me. Then if it's things like that, then it shouldn't really harm your friendship, and it's something that you should be able to, to work around and to accept.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing. If you can find someone who can, even just the little things, they can forgive you for them, but they also help you to better those slightly bad habits.
Yes.
It's what it's about. Absolutely. Yeah.
Should I go into?
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, in terms of someone who is intentional dating but actually actively seeking, so whether that's maybe by being set up on blind dates or using dating apps. I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest spike we probably had was in lockdown, so it'll be quite interesting to get
oh my gosh,
on that, because I've heard some tales. Obviously I've not been in that, so give us that side.
So I am an intentional dater.
Hello, Rebecca.
I'm an intentional dater. And one thing with intentional dating, it's not that you're not looking for. I think sometimes when you, I think that's one thing as well. Sometimes when people think, when I say, oh, I date with intention, people think that I'm just thinking you'll do. It's not a case of you'll do. No. I'm looking for a specific person, but it has to be somebody, who like you said, the qualities that I have in myself to be reflected and complemented in my potential partner. And intentional dating doesn't mean that you're not looking at every single person as a potential. And that's why
be choosy. Is that within reason? Don't
it has to be realistic, but make sure that,
and on the things that matter.
And make sure that you're not too choosy to the point that you're being unrealistic, because sometimes we want this perfect person and we forget that we are not perfect, and we forget that we've probably got a lot more to work on than we'd like to admit. So you have to be very honest with yourself. What is it that you need to work on, and what is it that you're looking for in a partner? So when I was with my dating, when I first meet people, I always ask them, what are you looking for? And I think that's sort of a unassuming question. So it's not putting pressure on anybody, but it's giving them the opportunity to be honest with me, And I found that a lot of people have been honest, and they do say, I'm not looking for anything serious, which is fine. I've seen, you know, I've had someone say, I'm not looking for a relationship right now, which means that they are looking for a relationship at some point, but they don't see that being a relationship with me. So, you know, we keep it moving. And it's, you know, I think if someone wants to get to know you, I give them the chance, and we just see how we get on. But it's not a case of you talk to anybody and anybody is a potential, because I'm looking for somebody, you know, my life partner. I'm looking for somebody who I can see longevity with. So that needs to be a careful decision. You have to really look into it and think, okay, is this person right for me? Am I right for this person? Can we bring out the best in each other? So yeah, I think that's been my in lockdown. So I'm on a dating app. We won't name it. It's been okay. It's okay if you just want to speak to anybody and you don't really care, which isn't me.
No.
So it's been okay with meeting people, but I feel as though with dating apps, it opens you up to so many more people than you would ordinarily meet, which means that you have to do a lot more filtering. And what I found is that I've had to do a lot more filtering with people who, especially in lockdown, people who were just on the app to pass time. So I've now come off of this dating app because I was meeting quite a few people who were just looking for someone to speak to in lockdown, which isn't, you know, I'm
not a product with an expiry date.
Exactly. I'm not a product with an expiry date. Nice way to put it. And I'm not looking to entertain anyone for the meantime. So it's definitely been interesting.
And again, which is fine if you are, but
yes,
if you know you're someone who you've been doing the self-work, then believe you deserve someone who is going to appreciate all of that.
Yeah, of course. And you know, I think that's what we're not saying anything, we're not saying you can't have casual relationships, although I think we would probably say, well, I would say that you should be careful with it because it creates soul ties and energy leaking, yes. And you end up having this connection with somebody, and if you're not the type of person who's able to just cut things off and not able to, you know, to be casual without emotional ties as well, then it's probably not the best thing for you. But this is specifically for people who are either in a relationship, this is about people who want to get into a relationship. This is about intentional dating for the end result being a relationship. I think I set my intentions and making sure that you always come back to your intentions. I think sometimes if you like somebody, but there may be qualities that you don't like. So it's more than just vibing with someone. It's more than that physical attraction. It's about having that companionship. And if you don't have that, I think it's harder to break off. It's harder to go your separate ways if you are hung up on the attraction, the physical attraction. And it's something that you need to keep going back to. Okay, what are my intentions? And that's something that I keep going back to. Okay, I like speaking to this person. They seem really nice, but they aren't looking for a relationship. So I know I need to stop speaking to them. And it's reminding yourself and keep going back to your intentions. Why are you doing this? Why are you speaking to someone? Why are you dating? You know, what is the outcome that you would like from it? So I think that has been that's been a constant that you have to keep in mind when you're dating, and being able to spot red flags as well. Should we go through red flags?
I think we'll probably do that in another video, because I feel like that will we can go into the psychology a bit of the red flags. Yeah.
And all the results of what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do it in another video. So this has been nice.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do more of this. Let us know if you like this collaboration. I think, I like speaking with you. So.
And if you have a sister, a brother, best friend, whatever, keep them close until you find the one, because, you know, like we said, it's...
Wait, not until you find the one.
Sorry,
like, still...
like,
still keep them close, but yeah. You know, obviously until you find somebody who you then introduce into your life as well. Because she's not getting rid of me. No. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll probably wrap that up there. But we will continue. We'll probably do a few more videos on relationships, because the scope is just too much to fit into one. But this has just been intentional dating, and just that initial, you know, phase from when you're seeking someone, and you know, if someone seeks you, or you know, you seek them, and then that does turn into a relationship, how that intentional dating continues and the way that the conversation goes.
Yes.
So
yeah. Thank you so much. This is the Unspoken Collective. My name is Rebecca.
I'm Steph.
And we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.